Most of us associate the UAE with tall skyscrapers, enormous wealth, the Palm Islands, the Burj Khalifa, the Burj Al Arab, and politicians driving Lamborghinis. In light of this, I'm here to argue that the United Arab Emirates is the most terrible Arab country on earth. So while this is a bold claim, it's the only one I can fully substantiate. So to better understand the UAE, let's explore the true face of the UAE and what's behind the UAE's terrible activities in the Middle East and around the world.
Dubai is a massive player on the global stage in terms of human development and of innovation.
Just over 50 years ago, oil was discovered here in Dubai. So how did Dubai get so rich?
Sheikh Rashid bin Saeed Al Maktoum ruled Dubai for 32 years. Sheikh Rashid was credited with transforming Dubai into a world-class metropolis.
Our growth and the growth of our industry will generate the trade, tourism and business that will drive the future success of the great city in which we live.
The UAE, which first appeared on the map in 1971, has now taken the wrong path in destabilizing its neighbors and many countries in the Middle East and Africa, including Yemen, Libya, Syria, Tunisia, Somalia, Qatar, Iran, Sudan, and Algeria, while other Arab countries are functioning towards becoming global peace actors. Qatar, for example, has served as a bridge between Iran and the US, Russia and the US allies, Afghanistan, Ethiopia, Iraq, Israel-Palestine, Lebanon, Sudan, and Yemen and Somalia. Qatar took pride in reaching out to a warring faction in each of those countries to push them to seek political compromises, as well as providing humanitarian help that both won hearts and minds and has a visible influence on the ground. For example, in the case of Taliban and Somalia. Let me start with Yemen. Yemen was a peaceful country with glowing lights, bustling cities, and a stable economy until the UAE and its allies invaded the country on March 26, 2015, causing the world's worst humanitarian crisis, committing genocide by killing over 333,000 people, causing refugees, destroying Yemen's infrastructure, and finally making the country a no-go zone. What do you think was the cause of the UAE's destruction of Yemen? Was it to fight the Houthi rebels that ousted the government at the time? Let us know in the comments. Let me help you answer this question. The reality was that the UAE wanted to seize Yemen and its oil reserves in order to manage its relationship with Saudi Arabia. For example, on April 30th, 2018, UAE Army troops took control of Socotra Airport, seaports, and all 4 islands in the archipelago. Socotra is a remote, magical location that attracts intrepid travelers with its caverns, marshes, ancient plant life, dragon blood trees, and unspoiled beaches with white sand and beautiful waters. The Emirates have attempted to increase the potential for tourism by allowing travelers to fly directly to Socotra from Abu Dhabi on the Emirati airline, Air Arabia, and even on visas issued by the UAE itself, fully undermining Yemeni sovereignty. UAE gained significant commercial tourism and security interest as a result of its expansionist goal. Around Yemen and Somalia, from the Gulf of Aden to the crucial Bab el-Mandeb Strait that connects it with the Red Sea, it's created a number of influence networks close to key choke points for international trade. When they invaded Yemen in 2015, the UAE had this as its mission. Will they annex parts of Yemen after Socotra? The UAE is now copying what they did in Yemen in other countries such as Somalia, Libya, and Syria. Let's move right on to Libya and the reasons the UAE is there.
The United Arab Emirates, a federation of 7 tiny but powerful sheikdoms, is actively trying to control a country thousands of miles away.
Always keep in mind that Libya and the UAE do not share a border. Surprisingly, the nation has a base in eastern Libya, where its aircrafts take off and land. The UAE supported Haftar by sending troops and heavy equipment to Libya after it fell apart and sank into chaos. This caused the conflict and instability in Libya to continue. Unexpectedly, one of the key objectives of the UAE in this extensive political and military engagement in Libya is to seize control of its mineral and oil treasures. For example, the Wall Street Journal disclosed last year that Haftar had a private meeting with Emirati officials and was planning to sell illicit Libyan oil in order to win the UAE's military and financial support. Since UAE came to Libya, large military equipment such as armored vehicles and drones has been reportedly sent to Libya's Haftar to get oil and influence in return. For example, 3 Emirati cargo planes recently sent a sizable contingent of Egyptian and Emirati soldiers to eastern Libya in support of the Haftar army. UAE's military intervention and illegal confiscation of oil is creating political havoc in Libya, while Qatar is playing a significant role in pushing the Libyan sides to compromise with one another and rebuild Libya via diplomacy and peace talks. On the other hand, the UAE has been involved in Syria's protracted conflict since its inception. They've been providing military and financial assistance to Bashar al-Assad, whereas Qatar's been acting as a peace mediator and has avoided any surface warfare involvement in any capacity. Unexpectedly, the United Arab Emirates and its allies severed diplomatic ties with Qatar, claiming that Qatar-funded terrorists and sectarian groups such as the Muslim Brotherhood, Al-Qaeda, the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant, and Iranian-backed groups aimed at destabilizing the region. However, Qatar did not take any military or unfriendly action, but as a global and regional peace actor, it sought various peaceful means to end this misunderstanding with its neighbors, including Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates, Egypt, Kuwait, and Oman. The UAE intended to wipe out Qatar's economy. However, this did not take place, and Qatar's economy has been growing despite the air, land, and sea blockade. The UAE has flexed its muscles towards Africa and other Asian countries such as Tunisia and Algeria. Many bombings in Tunisia's neighbor Libya happened. For example, these explosions were linked to the UAE because of their presence in Libya. Thus, Tunisia decided to close its border with Libya for 15 days after the suicide attack in Tunis, claiming that the explosives came from Libya. This creates mistrust between Tunisia and UAE because of UAE's hostile actions in the region. The UAE has also been intervening heavily in Algeria and Tunisia. The government is exerting massive political and economic pressure on Algeria and Tunisia in order to deepen its authority and squash all public movements. They've pushed Algeria and Tunisia to choose between bowing to the UAE and facing a security crisis. Finally, the UAE and Qatar have one thing in common. They both abuse human rights. Because the two countries house numerous employees from many regions, the two tiny Arab nations have committed human rights crimes, such as arbitrary arrest, cruel and inhumane treatment of detainees, restriction of freedom of speech, and violation of the right to privacy, and still continue to commit egregious violations of human rights. So what are your thoughts on this? Are UAE's actions evil? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and as always, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to your friends. See you next time.